We've all heard that the best athletes, the richest CEOs, and the masters of their respective niches all have rigid routines that help them organize and stay on top of the competition. But photographers and artists alike seem to deal with the struggle to find any order in a world of unknowns, uncertainties, and no real right or wrong answer. Today I'm going to share 4 ways of thinking and doing and 4 ways of creating that the photographers at the top of their game all seem to have in common. Not the most followed people on Instagram or on YouTube, not the ones with the deepest pockets, but the photographers that do work consistently on a daily basis all excel in these 4 areas. By the end, you'll pick up a couple bonus tricks that will definitely level up your client base, your well-being, and your overall photography journey so that you can make a couple extra bucks and outlast all the photographers in your area. Let's get into it. So first thing, and probably most important thing, you gotta take care of yourself. Clean your face, have some breakfast, do your dishes. You want to be progressing every day as a photographer, so don't have mundane daily tasks weigh you down. Focus on you a little bit and you'll be funner to be around. You make better decisions and you smell better. Booking a job with an agency is hard. Eating a banana is easy. Everyone at the top of their game, be it photographers, professional athletes, or even the most elite dog walkers in your city, they all understand the value of rest. We love what we do and that's why we do it. But burnout doesn't come with many warning signs. When you're doing what you love, it's hard to keep up. Work hard, play hard. It's important not to fill yourself with work. Even coming from a workaholic like me and my buddies, you want to be able to fully turn off. You can't grow and live a life worth pulling from if you're always working or just doing photography. I get the obsessive behavior. I live the obsessive behavior, but I'm always trying to schedule time off for myself that time that allows me to live outside of photography. The best athletes have the best recovery. The best CEOs pretend they like golf. Find something for yourself that is far away from photography so that you can work those creative muscles that you've learned from your time on set and apply them to the other aspects of your life. We're not meant to be cooped up in our own heads, even if I usually prefer it that way. When you take sufficient time off, your mindset changes and you can go back and attack that work with a different perspective, a new view on the same job. Creativity is a muscle that only gets stronger over time in practice. Like my old soccer coach used to say, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect, which arguably is not the greatest mindset for a child, but make a point to give it everything you have when you're actually doing it. The only way you can apply yourself fully to your time on is by appreciating your time off. As some of you might know by now, I like to spend my free time skateboarding. It's one of those things that's so hard to do that you have to kind of clear your head entirely in order to do it. I've described my obsessions recently as a desire or a need for flow state. The state of being that blocks out all other distractions but the thing you're actually focusing on. Photography is all-encompassing enough for me that it launches me into that flow state that streamlines my thoughts. And I needed something equally stimulating as a hobby to satisfy those same neuroses in my head. For me, it's skating. For you, it can be underwater basket weaving. But just find something. Whatever it is, it's gonna help your photography in the long run. Imagine a world where stand-up comedians have to watch other stand-up to come up with material rather than just living their own lives and telling funny stories about them. With that, I'm curious to know what you guys do in your free time. Even though I know some of you are hobbyists by design and your free time is this photography thing. So if that's the case, what is it that you do on your on time? What's your regular 9 to 5 that you like to escape from with photography? The next logical step to creating on a consistent basis, now that you're eating right and you're focusing on your extracurriculars, is to have a good set of systems for the activities that you do. Having a systematic approach to an unconventional job can create some order within that chaos, some beauty within that madness. If you're just relying on, I should be all right, or I hope I'm creative today, you'll be drained by next year. When I was in university, or even just growing up with all the various hobbies that I had, I was never really being productive. I just thought I was. I wasn't setting goals, working towards them, and then setting new ones once I had achieved them. I was getting lucky every now and then I would slowly move up in my career. But when you take a systematic approach to these uncertainties, you can really jump leaps and bounds from the peers around you. It's only when I implement new systems into my workflow that I start to really see consistent productivity and progress. That goes to this day. I'm always adding new systems and fixing old methods to further streamline my process. Creative thinking is a muscle that gets stronger the more you work it, and I'll dive more in depth about this in a second, but as freelancers, as artists, as hobbyists, semi-pros, we have a million micro decisions to make every single day. And if we can focus on automating or systemizing certain aspects of those decisions, We can give much more attention to the storytelling that is our photography. If you're booking with a client, or even if you're just shooting for fun, especially on a shoot day, my biggest piece of advice is to prioritize your headspace. Think of yourself first, not your ego, but your body, your vessel, your brain. Make sure it's calm and collected and ready to create. I really do believe that we have a daily bandwidth for the mental capacity of making decisions. And you want to be able to make creative decisions that affect your career, not what t-shirt I'm going to wear with these socks. I think it's pivotal to pick out your outfits the day before. Better yet, have a somewhat rigid uniform or a capsule wardrobe that all fits good together. Prep your breakfast, pack the modifiers you'll need, have your batteries prepped, empty your memory cards, and do your best to start the shooting day running. But not actually running for those of you who are reading the auto-translate captions. Pretend you live in a video game where you start your day at 100%. Well, okay, maybe 95%, because none of us are perfect. And then with every decision you could have made the night before, you lose an extra percent. -1 for the outfit, -1 for the breakfast, -1 for watching that extra YouTube video. By the time you're shooting that day, you could have been down to 50%. Or you could still be at 92. Choice is yours. The world of subjective art, the idea that there's no real right or wrong answers, just collective schools of thought, can drive you a little mad and can create a space that, welcomes unlimited learning. There's never an end to what you can learn or do within photography. And that might be just what you're looking for in a hobby or a career. Personally, I think that's what's super cool about this. I love that I can look back at images from years and years ago, and sure, maybe some of them I'm still happy with the decisions I made, but I know for sure that I wouldn't do the same thing today. I'm always learning. That's the constant. The stability in that I'm still shooting. But the content and the approach are wildly different. Photography fills my need, and probably yours too. That's why you're watching this. But to me, photography is the ability to think of something, do that thing, and enjoy a feeling of accomplishment once it's made. It's a slow endorphin rush, kind of like landing your first kickflip. I really do think that it's so important for a photographer, or any career creative for that matter, to always be learning, growing, and feeling like a novice at constant intervals in their lives. Being a beginner in all aspects of your life focuses your brain to make new connections and further your neuroplasticity, increase your general life knowledge, which all in turn help your photography. I search for many repeating things in my life, and one of the things that photography does, once again much like skateboarding, is that it gives me the ability to set a goal, work towards it, and accomplish it, whether those are daily tasks or decade-long goals. This constant endorphin rush of achieving something that you set out to do is an incredible motivation to always learn a new lighting skill or understand a modifier a little bit better, maybe pick up a new exposure trick, whatever. The photography world is your oyster. The more you think you know something, the less you probably do. So rather than being discouraged, just use that as motivation so that you can always have that same childlike wonder of opening your eyes to a vast and open world, even when you think you're at the top of your game. The best of the best aren't doing anything different than they were at the start of their careers, which is just approaching every day with a desire to learn, grow, and take some cool pictures. Over time, as your career progresses, your mentality and approach to learning might not change, but the jobs you book, the impact you have, and the money in your bank account definitely will. Don't let that steer you away from what made you pick up a camera in the first place, what made you pick up that DSLR. Don't worry about gear, focus on your storytelling. The best photographers aren't there because they shoot on Phase or on Hassies. They're there because the money they earned throughout the struggles bought them enough time, not equipment. Time to live and time to think, time to create. This life is about chilling your mental headspace. If I wanted to be stressed out all the time, I would go work in a cubicle. And if all I cared about was money, I would have worked in my field of study after my farm diploma. But guess what? I'd rather have a life to look back on like Richard Avedon than Martin Shkreli. To make it in this career, minimize your overhead and buy yourself time. I know I say this coming from one of the most expensive cities in North America, but no matter what socioeconomic circle you're in, the ones that never need to backpedal are the most frugal. Not cheap, but frugal. You think of your career as long-term. You think of this photography journey as long-term. So do the same with your money. I love living in this consumerist, capitalist world as much as anyone. And if I need something for a job, I'll go get it. But I will first think of every possible avenue that minimizes how much I need to spend. Whether that's building a DIY version or just packing a lunch so you don't have to spend $20 of your earnings for a quick bite on your way back from the job. I don't want you thinking that spending is bad, but just understand the value of that dollar. Understand that your clients really won't care or even notice if you shot that with a Leica Noctilux. Try not to bring a scarcity mindset to your workflow. Don't alienate anyone trying to take some pictures. I don't care if you think you're better than them or you think that they're taking money out of your pockets. Those are just your own insecurities. We want more photographers, and we want more people to realize that photography is important in the world that we live. It's everywhere around us, and the human element of photographers is needed more than ever in this rapidly growing AI world. More creativity in this world is always a net positive, and none of us are the arbiter of what is and what isn't. I want you all to be successful, and I want you all to create new works of art constantly. Back next week with another video. I'll see you guys then. Peace.